Julian Green has a new team. Bayern Munich put the Bundesliga back to normal. The NASL may still play in 2017, and transfer rumours galore as we approach January. Good morning, it's Thursday, December 22nd. I'm Daryl Grove, subbing in for Taylor Rockwell, and you're listening to The Goalmouth, your daily serving of bite-sized soccer news. Up first, occasional US national team player Julian Green, he has 8 caps, is no longer with Bayern Munich. Green has signed for Stuttgart in the Bundesliga 2. Green is still only 21, but it's been 2.5 years since he scored that goal for the US against Belgium at the World Cup. So we've spent that long, a quarter of a decade, if you want to put it dramatically, waiting for his career as a first team player to get going. So I'm 10% disappointed that Green never got to play an actual Bundesliga game for Bayern, but 90% excited because it's about time this talented young player got himself some proper first team minutes, even if he has to drop down a division to do so. Stuttgart are third in Bundesliga 2 with some very realistic promotion ambitions. So here's to a fresh start and lots of goals for young Julian. The league is now on winter break, but Green's first game will be January 29th away to St. Pauli. Sticking with Germany, Green's now former team, Bayern Munich, beat RB Leipzig on Wednesday to go 3 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga. The recently promoted RB had been mounting a genuine title challenge by playing some aggressive soccer, but Bayern re-established the old order with a 3-0 win. This is a little like if, in Star Wars, the Empire had obliterated the rebellion just as the rebels were starting to plan that assault on the Death Star. But don't feel too bad for RB, because for this analogy to really work, the rebellion would have to be financed by Tatooine's biggest energy drink company, Blue Milk. And the rebel council would be stocked with Blue Milk executives, let's say. Here in the US, no news is good news for the NASL, but possibly bad news for the USL. You may recall that on December 6th, US Soccer announced they needed an extra 7 to 10 days to decide on Division 2 sanctioning, which is what NASL and USL really wanted for Christmas. It looked like NASL was about to fold, having lost Minnesota to MLS, Tampa Bay and Ottawa to the USL, and the New York Cosmos to a bottomless abyss. Those 7 to 10 days were up last Friday, so much like early 90s band Four Non Blondes, we've all been left wondering, hey, I said hey, what's going on? Well, Matthew Glenesk of the Indianapolis Star newspaper did some good old-fashioned reporting and got this quote from an unnamed US Soccer Federation spokesperson. Let's call him Gunil Salati. Discussions are still ongoing and will be through the end of the year. There is no, quote, specific reason for the delay, and the sides are, quote, still talking it through. Based on some great insight from the Minnesota website 551, shout out to those guys, it seems that NASL is planning to try and continue into 2017 despite having fewer teams than I can count on my fingers. I think 7 right now. That's teams, not fingers. 551 suggests that the remaining teams are too scared to leave the NASL because they would have to pay an exit fee, which means NASL is essentially holding these teams hostage. I feel a little silly having a strong opinion with not knowing what's going on behind closed doors, but I can't help thinking that this is a time for US soccer to step up and make some tough decisions. This NASL-USL thing has been bumbling along for a few years now, and I think US soccer are just hoping it would sort itself out. But it seems like it's time for a governing body to start acting like a governing body and do some governing. Finally, because it's nearly January, I'll close with an epic transatlantic transfer rumour roundup. Are you ready? The Scottish Sun are reporting that progress has been made in the Darlington Nagby to Celtic deal with a transfer fee of around £3 million, that's about $3.7 million. The Sun's questionable but seasonal headline, Merry Christmas, darling. Elsewhere, Greg Garza, remember him? He played left back for the United States a few times. Might be joining Atlanta United on loan from Liga MX's team Tijuana for 2017. Minnesota United are about to sign Miguel Ibarra, who played for the Loons in the NASL days. Will Johnson may be joining Orlando City because Jason Christ has decided the best way to make the playoffs is to snap up a guy who always finds his way to MLS Cup, no matter what team he's with. Sporting KC can now make a homegrown player claim on Josh Sargent, the US under-17 striker who lit it up at the Nike International Friendlies recently. This is despite Sargent being from St. Louis and never ever being with a Sporting KC academy. But hats off to the Sporting KC front office for knowing every loophole in the gigantic MLS rulebook. Across the Atlantic, it looks like Manchester United are about to sign Benfica's Swedish centre-back Victor Lindelof, while Morgan Schneiderlin is rumoured to be leaving Old Trafford for either Everton or West Brom, where he'll dominate Premier League midfield and quickly remind everyone why United wanted him to begin with. That's all from me this morning. George Qureshi and his 100% collective noun consistency will be with you tomorrow, filling in for Ryan Bailey, who's spending a long weekend at a spa with Mrs. Bailey. Aww. Please help spread the word about Goalmouth by telling a friend, leaving us an iTunes review, or relentlessly humming the theme tune. Here's a recent iTunes review by username really real. I love Apple IDs. Great bite-sized podcast I start every day with, except when someone oversleeps. I don't know who you could possibly be referring to, really real. Could be anyone who overslept this past Tuesday. I'll leave you with today's Goalmouth top tip. Blue milk gives you wings!